of Saints and Sinners by Morningstar Rides. Chapter 25. The Deal. Not a deal! Lucifer is not sure what to expect after stepping through the portal, but it certainly isn't this!
What in the... Did you prepare tea?
He asks, staring at the table in the center of the room. There's a teapot with matching porcelain cups on the tabletop. Nestled beside it is a 3-tiered platter piled high with dainty desserts.
Yes, please have a seat.
Sarah settled down on her chair first, and after a moment, Lucifer follows suit. She pours the hot tea into each cup, the smell of Darjeeling wafting in the air. He can't remember the last time they did something like this, and the silence is rather awkward. Or maybe he's overthinking it.
Do you still take milk with your tea?
Sarah asks stiffly. Her body language is quite rigid, like she's not sure what to do. Okay, so it's not just him. It's definitely awkward.
Yeah, I can't believe you remembered.
She conjures up a little jar of steamed milk and pushes it towards him in lieu of speaking. They sip their tea quietly, and the only sound is the clinking of cutlery as Lucifer reaches for an apple Danish. Couldn't she have played some music in the background? Lucifer thinks, munching on his dessert. At any rate, the silence is about to suffocate him to death, and he searches for something to say.
Is this your serious issue?
He smiles weakly.
You, needed someone for afternoon tea?
She either doesn't notice or ignores his feeble attempt at a joke.
I will get straight to the point then. You and your daughter came up to heaven, but I think you had ulterior motives.
Lucifer almost crushes the treat in his hand. Shit, did she find out that we were lying? Although they had only entered heaven to bring back Nifty, Sarah followed rules to a T, and she wouldn't take kindly to the idea that they had deceived her. She entwines her fingers together, her eyes boring straight into his.
I have spoken to numerous eyewitnesses, and all of them stated that you and Alastor were having...
She pauses here, looking rather pained.
A very public and very intimate affair.
Lucifer chokes on his tea, coughs wildly, momentarily forgetting that technically, yes, that did happen, but it had only been a sham, a pretense, a way to shake off the guards that Sarah had assigned to them.
Is it true?
She asks him, point blank, and he sets his teacup down. Okay, so she hasn't found out. Stick to the excuse. Stick to the excuse. Stick to the excuse. He attempts to laugh it off, but he sounds exceedingly unnatural.
Yeah, we sure did. We were doing it on every surface, here, there, everywhere.
Great, now he's trying too hard, and Sarah just massages her temples.
I am not trying to police your behavior, but the last time you had a romantic entanglement, it had been a disaster. Lilith was a force to be reckoned with. She caused hell's powers to grow exponentially, so...
Wait.
Lucifer furrows his eyebrows.
What are you implying?
He is an overlord, is he not?
Sarah asks carefully.
A formidable one, if I recall correctly, and the princess has inherited your powers as well.
All at once, it clicks in his head.
You think we're up to something? That the three of us are, what, gonna overthrow heaven?
Your words, not mine.
Lucifer bristles up at her accusation because he knows what she's hoping for. It would be so much easier for her if he were completely villainous, to paint him as the ultimate enemy, because that way she could justify hurting him over and over again.
Look, Sarah,
he says hotly,
I know we've had our differences.
That is a bit of an understatement.
But I wasn't here to stir anything up, all right? There's not a single rotten bone in Charlie's body. She would never hurt souls for no reason. Anyway, now that I'm here, I want to say something to you.
He jabs a finger in her direction, and her eyes widen at the motion.
You were being awful to my daughter. She's done so much for hell. Seriously, she's such a hard worker, and the others who live there right now, they're good people. You don't even know them, but you judge them immediately.
You do know that it's part of my job.
Yeah, but you don't have all the facts. You just sit here.
Lucifer has to take in a breath to calm himself down.
And jump to the worst conclusions. Like you always do.
His words drape over them uncomfortably, the implication too heavy to ignore. She seems rather gobsmacked, and she sets her teacup down on the saucer.
Then give me the facts.
Sarah leans in from across the table, and her gray eyes are impossibly bright at this proximity.
You still haven't told me what you were doing. You left with Alastor that day instead of coming up to talk to me. Why is that?
You want to know what we did?
Well, that's easy enough to talk about. He flips through his memories in his head like it's a scrapbook, and he thinks about the past events in heaven. Eating ice cream, petting Alastor's ears, climbing on top of him, seeing his flushed face. What the fuck? Lucifer thinks, blushing furiously. They've done a ton of intimate things together, and he feels a delayed sense of embarrassment. His face is officially aflame. Great!
Alastor and I,
He can't maintain eye contact with her anymore.
like I mentioned earlier, we were, well, you know,
Is he rambling? He's definitely rambling.
it was just,
Never mind. Sarah lifts her hand up, and she looks like she regrets asking.
I understand now. It's written all over your face.
Lucifer blinks at this.
huh?
So you had me take care of your daughter while you went on a date.
She lets out a long-suffering sigh.
I must say I feel rather used.
Huh?
I suppose that hell doesn't have that many romantic spots.
Sarah mumbles under her breath.
Emily was right then.
She doesn't speak afterwards, instead choosing to chew on a scone. Lucifer recognizes the expression on her face. It's one of deliberation, and she's always preferred silence when she's pondering over something. She finishes her scone, refills the pot of milk, pours some more tea for them, before finally looking at him, a rueful smile on her face.
I'm sorry, Lucifer.
He chokes on his tea, again, which is a sign that he should stop eating or drinking while they're talking.
What?
I'm sorry.
Sarah repeats louder this time.
We've been apart for a while, and so I assumed that hell would worsen your character in some way. But I was incorrect. A happy mistake, of course. You are still the unwavering dreamer.
Oh. Never in a million years would he have expected Sarah to admit fault.
I mean, I appreciate the apology, but it doesn't just, magically make everything okay.
Of course, it is completely your choice. I only wanted to let you know.
If she's put out by his refusal, she doesn't show it. Instead, she places a macaron on his plate, a peace offering. The seconds of silence turn into minutes, and the only sound is of them sipping their tea. Another moment where Sarah looks rather deep in thought.
And about your daughter,
She finally says.
after meeting with her the past few times, she is not what I expected.
Sarah absentmindedly stirs her tea.
To be honest, the two of you have given me something to think about. Perhaps it is not so straightforward to separate the saints and sinners after all.
Really?
Lucifer gapes at her, a bit astonished at her reaction.
Wait. Are you rethinking your decision?
I am not.
She shuts him down immediately, but there's a friendly twinkle in her eye.
I do think her persistence is rather admirable. The last time we spoke, she was thinking about bringing in more guests to our hotel.
Yeah, she's working day and night trying to promote the hotel.
He says affectionately.
And how is it going so far?
There's some buzz.
Lucifer omits that Charlie hasn't been successful so far because he doesn't want to lose Sarah's interest.
I see.
She seems to be concentrating hard, and he pops the macaron into his mouth as she's ruminating over this information.
Well, Sarah begins, it would only be prudent for us to observe your daughter's project.
You're not going to stop her, are you?
There is no point in that now, is there? She's as determined as you are, Lucifer. Like father, like daughter.
Sarah says, not unkindly.
I'll assign Emily as our liaison. Why don't you update us if there's any progress?
Oh, wow. He can't help but beam at this.
Charlie's gonna be so excited. She's wanted to work together for so long.
Sarah smiles back, the slightest quirk of her lips.
It will be a deal then.
A deal.
Lucifer starts to snicker at the word, and she gazes at him curiously.
Did I say something funny?
No.
He scratches his head sheepishly.
Not funny exactly. You just sounded like Alastor there. He's always making deals and stuff.
Ah, your lover.
At the word lover, he feels his face flush again.
You seem to have quite the type, Lucifer. Tall and dangerous.
And, God damn it, is Sarah kissing him? She laughs a little, airy and delicate, and it's a sound he hasn't heard from her in a while. The teapot is officially empty, and Lucifer is about to leave when an idea crosses his mind, aka an olive branch of sorts. He drums his fingers on the tabletop, a little hesitant.
Actually, now that I'm here, I want your opinion on something.
Oh? Sarah looks at him, her eyes inquisitive. Please go on.
Lucifer conjures up his violin, and it shines under the sparkling lights.
I made a song for Alastor. Can you listen to it? I think it's missing a little something.
Honestly, he doesn't know why he hadn't thought of this earlier. Sarah is the perfect candidate to test his song on because A, she's always been musically talented, and B, she already thinks he's dating Alastor, so it's quite likely that he would compose a song for him.
Certainly.
She nods at his request.
It has been a while since I heard you perform. I would be honored to listen.
He perks up once he gets her approval and rests the violin on his collarbone.
Great. All right, here it is.
In one smooth motion, he draws the bow across the strings. The melody reverberates exquisitely in the tea room, the sound smooth and clear. Not a single note is amiss. He plays for a few minutes, and when he pulls the last note, he looks at Sarah expectantly.
What do you think?
Quite beautiful indeed. She claps appreciatively. But you are right. It's missing something. Could I see your sheet music?
He materializes the pages in his hands and passes them over to her.
I think here.
Yeah?
And maybe here.
Sarah marks down some parts with a pencil, and they spend the next few hours deep in melodic discussion, adjusting stanzas throughout. It's nice to get a second opinion, and he practices the piece every time they make an alteration. The evening slowly creeps in. The soft moonlight streams in through the windows. It's a different color from hell. Not red, but rather a silvery blue. It's getting rather late, and so Lucifer sets the violin down. I should probably head back now.
It really is much better. Thanks.
One final note.
Sarah looks at his violin thoughtfully.
You could consider having another instrument accompanying it. Perhaps a piano?
A piano.
An image of Alastor appears in his mind, jauntily playing away at the keyboard.
That's a great idea. I'll make an accompaniment.
Regardless, I'm sure your boyfriend will be thrilled.
Lucifer can't help but wheeze at the term. Emily finally returns, her hologram a bit blurry around the edges. Oh gosh, I didn't mean to take so long. I had to fill out a ton of paperwork, she explains.
Alastor merely shrugs, uninterested about the intricacies of its bureaucracy.
Shall we head out then? Yep, Emily says cheerfully. Just a second. As she's setting up the portal, Alastor looks down at Lucifer's phone. The polite thing would be to inform Charlie about her father's whereabouts. He squints at the screen, trying to figure out how to type on the tiny keyboard. Lucifer, goose to rim. At least he managed to spell two correctly. Alastor rolls his eyes and slips the phone back into his pocket. Hopefully this will be the last time he has to use this infernal rectangle. A dazzling beam of light flashes to his left, and when he turns, he sees the golden portal glimmer in the air. Okay, this should take you to the entrance of the room. I'm going to do something else, so you'll have to go by yourself. Emily looks at him worriedly. You won't get lost, right? Alastor narrows his eyes at her, trying to discern if she's being condescending, but her expression is one of open sincerity. It makes him rather uncomfortable, and he has to look away. Oh, I am perfectly capable of handling myself. Leave me be. I believe in you. As her hologram disappears, Alastor gingerly steps through the portal. In an instant, he's whisked away to a set of double doors, and they loom over him oppressively. His hand hovers over the golden handle, his concerns multiplying the longer he stands there. Where does this lead to? Some sort of prison? A torture chamber? Alastor thinks pinpricks of dread coursing through him. What could they possibly need from him? Alastor shakes his head, trying to get rid of his agitation. There was no use in standing there and doing nothing. He places his hand on the doorknob and pushes the door open. The moment of truth. He strides in, his footsteps echoing in the room. So it really is a prison. No, a torture chamber. No, a tea room? Alastor looks around in confusion. The room is sumptuously decorated with celestial ornamentations and a sparkling chandelier. The only alarming thing about it was the tacky furniture. Did Emily send him to the wrong area? He's about to exit when he spies a familiar figure at the center and he freezes in place. The person has flaxen hair, a pale countenance, a slim physique that hides the unexpected power within his body.
Lucifer.
He speaks it softly in the air, just a whisper in the wind, but it's enough for him to turn around in his chair to lock eyes with him, to visibly brighten up and shoot Alastor a lopsided grin. Whoa! Lucifer's voice is tinged with excitement, like he's delighted to see him.
What are you doing here?
Oh, I was unfortunately tasked to babysit royalty today, so I am picking you up. Externally, Alastor is perfectly composed. Internally, he can feel his muscles unlocking from relief now that he knows there's nothing awry. Lucifer watches interestedly as Alastor ventures forward, step by step by step, and their gazes never drop from each other.
Where's my ride, then?
Lucifer lifts an eyebrow. You have wings, don't you?
Wow, reminded me to fire you.
Oh, I can assure you that no one else will take up this responsibility. Alastor makes it to the table, and upon seeing Sarah seated across from Lucifer, he can't help but let out a huff. What's this now, tea time with the Seraphim? Alastor's tone is purposefully blithe, although Sarah seems to pick up on his annoyance.
I asked him up here.
She snaps her fingers and materializes a chair for him.
Please sit.
Alastor considers being contrary, but as Lucifer is still seated, he ends up sitting down beside him. A teacup appears out of nowhere, which he doesn't touch. He's really only here for one thing only.
It's been a while since they've met, and he can't help but stare, taking in the sight of his profile.
Lucifer's dressed exceedingly casually, only in a matching set of white pants and a button-up shirt. His sleeves are rolled up, as always, exposing his ombre arms, and his dark fingers are wrapped around the teacup.
So, you come here often?
Lucifer grins, clearly amused by his own cheesy line. Oh, only when you are around. He's merely stating a fact, but he feels like he's made a misstep based on the way Lucifer gapes at him.
Alastor places his hand on his neck, resolutely looking away from him.
The consequence of that action, however, is that he accidentally makes eye contact with Sarah. What do you want? He grits out. She looks away immediately, but he can hear a small chuckle escape from her mouth. It's a strange atmosphere, and Alastor can feel his heart thudding against the confines of his chest. Nerves, anxiety, all emotions he's uncomfortable with. To ease himself, he slides back into something he's familiar with, insulting Lucifer. I have never met anyone who gets under my skin like you. Alastor leans in, genuine vexation seeping into his voice. You should inform people if you are leaving. How ill-mannered. To emphasize his point, he flicks Lucifer's forehead and he yelps at the contact.
I texted Charlie, jackass.
Are you speaking of this?
Alastor shoves his phone screen in front of his face and Lucifer squints at the message. What the... Is that what I wrote?
He at least has the decency to look abashed.
Oops.
Oops! Alastor echoes. Is that all you have to say?
I mean, I would have told you, but you don't have a phone.
And how is your lack of social decorum my fault?
Get one of those retro phones, at least.
Lucifer makes a circle with his hands.
The rotary one.
I shall tear you in half to teach you a lesson. Alastor throws his phone at him, and Lucifer scrambles to grab it, grumbling the whole time.
You were such a douchebag.
Better than a scatterbrain such as herself.
Narcissist.
Airhead.
Asshole.
Lucifer.
Sarah cuts in. Alastor glances askance and are irritated by your interruption.
Do you mind?
He plasters on a disingenuous smile.
We were in the middle of something.
You are the one who barged in, Sarah says dryly. I only wished to inform you that there's a special event tonight.
Lucifer tilts his head.
What special event?
It's the eve of the supermoon. She nods towards the window. You can get a beautiful view up on the roof. Perhaps you'd like to see it before you go down. I can assure you that no one will bother you.
The moon, you say?
Alastor reflects on the idea. It's not a terrible suggestion. He's always had a penchant for stargazing. Incorrect, it was a pastime that he's only taken up after spending time with Lucifer. They look at each other, communicating wordlessly. Want to see it? Lucifer's face seems to say, and Alastor's dear ears perk up. Of course, why break tradition? They make it up to the roof at dusk. He's about to sit down on the tiles when Lucifer stops him with his apple cane, a mischievous grin on his face.
I got a better idea.
And then, shockingly, he grabs hold of some of the fluffy clouds that float around them. He shuffles them around, squishing the clouds together until they form a large bench-like shape.
Ta-da! Lucifer says proudly, "These are really comfy. Try it."
To demonstrate, he jumps onto the cloud. Lucifer pats the space beside him, and Alastor looks at the makeshift seat incredulously.
How strange. These things can be adjusted.
Yeah, but you're not really supposed to.
Lucifer puts a finger on his lips.
Shh, don't tell.
They don't appear to be sturdy whatsoever, so Alastor carefully pokes the surface. After determining that the clouds remain intact, he settles down next to Lucifer, but there's an annoying gap between them. A couple of centimeters. Not much at all, really, yet a great deal at the same time. Alastor turns to look at him, unsure of how to express his displeasure. Come closer? Move in?
What?
Lucifer blinks.
Do you want more space?
No.
His reply is too swift, too zealous. Alastor's dear ears flatten, and he is once again appalled by his actions. This was entirely unlike him. And yet it has become his new normal, hasn't it? To get as close to Lucifer as possible.
Whoa.
Every now and then, Lucifer manages to read his mind, because he shuffles in just a little. And in response, Alastor inches closer, the tiniest bit.
Better?
Lucifer asks, voice hushed. Alastor doesn't reply, which he takes as a sign of approval, it seems, because they remain like that, pressed against each other. Lucifer turns away and gestures towards the moon, looking a bit in awe.
She wasn't kidding about the supermoon, huh? Look at that size!
The moon glows so brightly it almost feels like the day, and its radiance drenches the landscape of heaven in pearly tones. The moonlight reflects off of something in Lucifer's hair. Alastor squints at it, trying to figure out what it is. They're pins? Red ones, arranged in an X shape. He recognizes them, of course, but he had made those for him eons ago. Alastor taps on the pins with his hand. Lucifer looks at him when he does, his eyes impossibly wide. His gold sclera looks almost silver under the light.
You kept these.
Lucifer looks sheepish, a blush starting to form across his face. Well, yeah. You gave them to me, so they're mine now.
He then sticks his tongue out, and Alastor's eyes flick to its forked tip.
You can't have them back.
Oh, I wouldn't dream of it.
He mocks.
Your hair needs all the help it can get.
Not everyone can have straight hair like yours.
Lucifer grumbles, and without warning, he runs his hand through Lucifer's strands and twirls the lock around his finger. Casually. Like it's something they do. He digs his claws into his palms, fighting against the contrasting urges of either leaning in or leaning back. But Lucifer lets go of his hair before he can decide.
See?
He sounds rather envious.
Soft.
Alastor unclenches his hands, still staring. He remains at a loss for words. Lucifer starts to look uncomfortable and emotions to Alastor's outfit.
No jacket today?
Alastor pulls at his suspenders, and Lucifer's eyes follow the motion. He can't quite admit that he only set his jacket aside because he commented on it back at the amusement park.
It's kinda hot.
Lucifer had said, "You are an embarrassment!" He reprimands himself. An embarrassment, an embarrassment, an embarrassment, an embarrassment, an embarrassment.
You spent quite some time up here,
he says instead.
What were you up to?
Oh, yeah. She had some questions about us. She was worried we weren't gonna invade heaven or something.
Alastor feels a little offended by the insinuation.
Is that so? I have no interest in this ridiculous realm.
I know!
Lucifer gesticulates wildly.
I told her that.
Is that why you stayed here for so long?
There's an accusing edge to his voice, and Alastor tries desperately to control it to smooth it back to normal.
Charlie was incredibly concerned by your vague text.
Lucifer pulls his phone out, worriedly swiping through his messages.
Oh, God. I didn't mean to scare... Wait.
He peers at the screen.
Did someone use my phone to text my daughter? There's a string of gibberish here.
Alastor stiffens up at the question, which Lucifer, unfortunately, notices.
Don't tell me.
And he snorts.
Is this you? You were the one texting Charlie? How are you this bad at typing?
Big grunts coming from you.
Alastor sneers.
What did you text Charlie earlier? With his C.B. Ruth book, I believe?
Hey, that was by accident. But these texts...
Lucifer laughs so hard he practically doubles over.
Oh god, you had so many typos that autocorrect couldn't even help.
Your keyboard is far too small. We have established our size difference already.
Lucifer wipes a tear away from his eyes, still laughing.
I thought you'd have more dexterity than that. Don't you play the piano?
I doubt musical talent is transferable to this
Alastor waves a hand.
texting business.
Want to learn?
He fixes Lucifer with a look.
You already know my answer.
Yeah.
He slips his phone into his pocket before letting out a sigh, soft and resigned.
Guess we won't be able to contact each other then.
His face is rather forlorn. Alastor leans down, struck with a ridiculous desire to soothe him.
Well, all you have to do is say my name. Call for me, and I will be there.
What? I just gotta say Alastor, and you'll hear me somehow?
There's a wry grin on his face.
How does that even work?
I do have excellent hearing, after all.
Okay, weirdo. I'll hold you to that.
Lucifer looks away a little subdued.
Anyway, I know I was here for a while. I spent most of my time, well...
He trails off. Gives up on finishing his sentence. They lapse into silence, and Alastor stares up at the night sky, feigning indifference. But he's unable to maintain the ruse for long, wanting to know what grandiose reason forced Lucifer up for so long.
Well, what?
Lucifer looks conflicted. You know how I've been away from the hotel.
Indeed, for your preparations.
Yeah,
There's a flicker of frustration on his face now.
it's just... I spent all this time trying to figure out how to ask you perfectly. And I just want to do it now, but I gotta... This isn't how I wanted it to go.
Oh?
His vague statement stirs Alastor's interest.
And what did you want to ask?
He glances over, and his eyes flit down towards Alastor's mouth. Lucifer swallows, his face tinted pink.
Towards you.
Alastor feels his heartbeat quicken.
I want...
Lucifer leans in, expression hopeful, and then...
Never mind.
He says hastily, like he's second-guessing himself.
I don't want to make a wrong move.
Alastor doesn't react at first, too surprised by the turn of events. But then Lucifer backs away. No. Looks rather disappointed. No! Starts to get off the bench. No! And Alastor lunges for his hand, grabs onto his palm, slides their fingers together, and intertwines them. Lucifer's gaze swings between their joined hands and his face.
Then allow me to go first.
Alastor says, and he tightens his grip on Lucifer's hand. He's reacting purely on instinct. He has nothing prepared to say. Throughout his life, he's been able to fabricate sentences and excuses on the fly, always with a quick response on his tongue, but in front of Lucifer. In front of his own feelings, his thoughts are an illegible mess. All he knows is that he needs to get it out now, lest his heart bursts from all his bottled up emotions.
You have put some sort of hex on me.
His sentences come out in staccato bursts, confusing, messy, the complete opposite of how he normally is.
I want to be the very air you breathe. You are a necessity,
Alastor growls, drops Lucifer's hand like it burns, and shoves his face into his palm. It's all terribly embarrassing, and he's babbling like an incoherent fool. He peeks out from behind his fingers, only to find that Lucifer is staring at him, deeply, intensely, passionately, as though he were the only person in the universe. He raises his head, hating every second of it, hates that he can feel how hot and flushed his cheeks are, hates that his heart is speeding by at an alarming rate, hates that he's absolutely, indubitably terrified. Yet he still carries on, words coming out hurriedly, radio filter non-existent.
I have never wanted to be somebody's someone.
Alastor meets his eyes, red into gold.
Until I met you.
He waits, hard in his throat, for his response. Was that clear enough? Does he understand what I'm trying to say? Lucifer stands in front of him, and for a moment he doesn't speak at all. The longer he remains quiet, the more Alastor feels a debilitating sense of despair. That perhaps all of this was a mistake. The worst one he's made so far. Alastor lowers his head, suddenly unable to bear looking at him. What was I even thinking? No, I wasn't thinking, and I have made this foolhardy decision like some zombie imbecile. Then Lucifer places a finger under his chin, gently lifts his face up, and everything is different. He can feel it, practically tangible in the air. That there's a line, but it's up to Alastor if he wants to cross it, and he throws caution to the wind. Yes, yes, yes! So when Lucifer leans in, he follows suit, Alastor's hand grabbing onto his tiny waist. They press their foreheads against each other, and Alastor doesn't dare breathe, feeling as Lucifer's hand shifts to cradle his cheek. Lucifer's every move is so tender, cautious. His eyes glance down at Alastor's lips before gazing back at his face as though asking for permission. And Alastor closes the distance, pressing his lips on his. It's a hesitant attempt, the gentlest brush, but Lucifer's lips are soft, the contact so electrifying it jolts all the way down his body, and more than anything, it feels good. It feels right. The exact words Lucifer used to describe their relationship back when they played the harp. Alastor places both hands on his waist now, and he kisses a little more urgently, a little more recklessly, and Lucifer lets out a small noise that makes him lose all sense of self-control. Fuck! Alastor pulls him in eagerly, yanking so hard he practically drags him onto his lap. Lucifer places both hands onto the back of Alastor's head to bring him closer. They both greedily grab onto each other, trying to feel more, taste more. He can't get enough of him, just like everything else about Lucifer. And he takes and takes and takes. They kiss to wring out all the words unsaid, and the world transforms. Lucifer really doesn't want to break the kiss. He can do this forever, no exaggeration, but he feels like he should probably respond to Alastor's confession. When he finally pulls away, Alastor's eyes slowly open. Lucifer is still sitting on his lap, and he shoots him a lopsided grin.
This might be obvious, but I like you too.
Alastor lets out a breathy chuckle, low and amused.
I don't believe I said I liked you,
Alastor says, but he tucks Lucifer's hair behind his ear, trying to tame the flyaways.
You do, though.
You like me, Lucifer teases, smiling widely. Alastor rolls his eyes, but he doesn't deny it. Instead, he pushes Lucifer into his chest, trying to shut him up. The moon is bright and beautiful tonight. Lucifer used to hate seeing it in heaven, but now it's quite the sight to behold. They're back to sitting side by side. There's a small distance between them now, with Lucifer's hand placed in the space between them, although Alastor is aware that if he set his hand atop of his, it would be perfectly acceptable. There's something satisfying about the knowing, the security that whatever he chooses to do now, Lucifer will reciprocate, but it's also new. He's not one to care about any of this. He's never felt anything like it before. The draw to be near, to simply be beside each other. Never been interested. Never wanted to be interested. But now his lack of personal experience frustrates him, nauseating him to his core. Lucifer. He turns to look at Alastor worriedly, as though picking up on the anxiety in his voice.
Yeah?
I would like to keep this between us. For now, Alastor adds hurriedly. This is not what I'm accustomed to.
It all comes out like pulling teeth, and he's wildly uncomfortable even admitting this much. He grips onto the edge of the cloud, threatening to tear it apart, and he feels the same sensation as when he first informed Lucifer that he didn't like physical contact, back when they initially struck a deal. This must annoy him, Alastor thinks, to hide from others like this. He glances at him, trying to detect signs of disappointment, except Lucifer merely nods.
Oh, sure. Works for me.
He feels rather dumbstruck by his non-reaction. Is that all? Alastor says incredulously. Do you not have any further questions or concerns?
I mean, I get where you're coming from.
Lucifer shrugs, looking unbothered.
It's our business, right? No one else's.
I suppose. He squints at him. You are taking this much better than I would have anticipated.
Did you think I'd argue with you about it?
We always argue, don't we?
But it's fun.
Lucifer looks unsure now.
Isn't it?
You should know that I only do things I want to do.
Alastor knows with some satisfaction that Lucifer looks comforted by this.
I am still a bit perplexed by your reaction. You don't mind?
No, I don't. Wait.
He leans in.
You know what? Yeah, I mind.
Oh.
Alastor says a little subdued. Lucifer flashes a smirk, looking absolutely devilish.
So let's make a deal.
What in the... Alastor's eyes practically bulge out at his words.
We'll keep this a secret if we kiss every day.
Lucifer's grin grows wider and wider and wider.
No killing, no maiming, no questions asked.
Alastor can feel his face burn, and he slaps his hand over his face to cover it.
Fuck you!
He manages to say, and Lucifer just laughs, looking absolutely pleased with himself.
Sure. When?
His cheeky response makes Alastor's blush worsen, and he has no idea where to look at this point. In the corner of his eye, he can see Lucifer's smile falter. His voice lowers to a gentle register.
It's okay to say no.
Do not misunderstand.
Alastor forces out.
I'm capable. I would like to do this, and besides, I do take my deals seriously.
And then he arches an eyebrow.
Don't you normally say, not a deal, at this juncture?
Lucifer lets out a groan, but he lifts up his pinky.
Yeah. I pinky promise then.
Their little fingers latch onto each other, and they shake their hands up and down 1, 2, 3 times.
So now we've got, what, 3 promises?
Lucifer counts them off on his hand.
Daily compliments, hugging whenever, and kissing. I guess since you already, kissed me, you're off the hook for the day.
I don't think so.
Huh?
That happened before we made the deal.
Alastor sings.
So I have yet to fulfill my quota for today.
He leans in, wanting to kiss Lucifer on the lips, but he shies away at the last second, too unused to it. His eyes dart around, trying to figure out what to do instead. It's then that he notices Lucifer's hand still nestled in the space between them. He wraps his fingers around his, brings it up, and kisses the back of Lucifer's hand. Alastor isn't sure whose face is redder, his or Lucifer's.